I recently ran a Twitter chat. Here are some of the answers to the more popular questions. Why is it so important for product manufacturers to have an effective specification strategy? This is about creating demand pull. If specifiers are not aware of your product, then they're not going to want to use them. So specification strategy is creating that awareness and desire to use your products. It's also worth commenting that specification sales are very expensive, and therefore it's important to make sure you're getting the maximum return from your investment by using it effectively. What are your top 3 tips for manufacturers to help increase specification of their products? Good technical support is key. That's the only reason a manufacturer will want to engage with you. Now that's online, it's in face-to-face meetings, and it's the technical material you provide. Overall, you should aim for your organisation and your individual representatives to become trusted advisors, the first point of contact that a specifier will turn when they need help and advice. And focus on having well-written specifications. If the specification doesn't have good generic descriptions of the key benefits and features of your product, then they will get switched at a later stage. How do product manufacturers become trusted advisors? As I said a minute ago, this is all about good technical knowledge. The first point is that your people have to have that knowledge. Then they have to work on developing the relationship with the specifiers. CPD is a very good starting point for this, to demonstrate their capability. And then they need to be reliable in the form of information they provide on demand when the specifier requires it. How can manufacturers identify the decision makers in a project team? A good starting point is to use a database like Glenigan or Barber ABI and to review it for the key specifiers, contractors and other influencers. These are the ones that you need to target on. Then it's understanding the specification process and where the influence is. Quantity surveyors, for example, are also very important. And then finally it's about networking, using social media, business events, things to build your relationships and also your understanding of the specifier issues, so you can talk to them on their level. How can manufacturers use content to support their specification strategy? Good product content demonstrates good expertise, so invest a lot of time and effort in writing that content to appear on your website, as blog articles, as technical articles, as white papers, all the kinds of things that can be fed out to the specifier and used by the sales team in meetings or after technical seminars to demonstrate that high level of expertise. Other than CPDs, in your experience, what content works particularly well? As I mentioned a moment ago, white papers, those that go into much greater depth. If you're in a technical meeting delivering a seminar, you'll have variable levels of knowledge in your audience. If you have white papers to support certain areas, you can then pass those on to those who have the level of expertise to understand them without boring those who just don't have that competence. Do you need tailored content for each type of specifier? Yes, very much so. If you look at the personality profiles of architects, engineers, contractors, they're quite different as a general rule. Architects are going to be interested in visuals, images, and understanding of what the final project will look like and how your products can contribute to that. Engineers are going to be much more interested in the technical support. Where were the products tested? What was the regime that was used? And contractors tend to focus on the key issues involved in delivering the project, getting a design advice, installation advice, things of that nature. How important is market research to specification strategy? Again, this is important. In the last few years, we've seen the industry go through quite a lot of change. We had the recession of 5 or 6 years ago, which fortunately now seems to have passed by. And to reflect that, we've seen a lot of changes in the industry, both in the way that people do business and also the companies that are now the key players. So research to understand who those organisations are and what matters to them is very important. It's a way of a company identifying ways of being different and standing out from its competition. Have specifiers changed the way in which they specify products over the past few years? Again, yes. As I mentioned a minute ago, the recession has caused changes in the way they operate, but also we're now seeing the adoption of building information modelling, or BIM as it's known. It's still early days to know exactly how that's going to work, but with 2016 as the target date for adoption by the British government, that will act as a motivator to many companies. Again, the feedback we've seen is that BIM is being used beyond just government projects for a wide range of projects because of the benefits it offers. So we're seeing a new process. What does the future of product specification look like? Back to BIM. And what it should provide is the opportunity for much greater transparency for the specifier. It also means that the contractor is going to have an input earlier on in the programme. So we're going to see a new way of doing things, which I hope will lead to less specification switching at a late stage of the project, but should see much more debate at early stages. Will manufacturers' products be less likely to be specified if they don't provide BIM objects? Research we've done suggests that that is the case. However, it depends very much on the type of product and the element, the supply channels you operate through, the sectors you're in. So it isn't a definite yes or no, but I would be very cautious of ignoring BIM. And finally, how can we tell the industry our products have sustainable credentials? Well, the key measures for sustainability are BREEAM and SCAR, so you need to provide information which meets those criteria. We're also seeing cradle-to-cradle developing, and of course there are such things as energy performance certificates, and many specialist sectors have their own measures. So you need to cover those things and then make people aware of them through the website, through your technical seminars. Thank you.